presence. The priest is not primarily a man that comes to bless the people. The priest blesses the people because when he ministers to the presence, he carries an overflow of that presence. It's that overflow that he pours on the people. So he becomes a conduit. In Exodus 28 verse 1 and 2, it says, separate unto me Aaron and his son, that they may minister unto me in the priestly office. So what Lucifer did was to be a priest in the realms of the Shamayim, the regions of the unseen, the heavenly dimension. He was the priest in Shamayim regions. And what he did was, to and fro, he moved in the midst of the coals of fire. And as he moved in the midst of the coals of fire, he provided sounds and vibrations. And those sounds that he emitted was what alarmed heaven to worship God. So he was a priest in the corridors of eternity. That's why in Ezekiel 28 from verse 13, it said, thy taps and thy tabrets were in thee from the day of thy creation. So the guy knew the sounds, you know. See the labor going on here to help us worship. You have keyboard, you have drum, you have speakers, you have bass guitar, you have amplifiers. All of these things were wired into Lucifer. So if heaven needs to worship, he can do like this. And he provides sounds, and everybody goes, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy. That's the job of priesthood. He ministers to the presence. And on earth, he was the governor of the first earth. You can check that in Isaiah chapter 14 verse 16. I'm coming there. When he does the job of priesthood, he now comes to establish order on the earth, until iniquity was found in him. And the point came, he said, I'm trying to show you how the systems of this world were designed. So you will know why the devil can rule in different mountains of influence. He was on earth before we were created. Iniquity entered his heart. And I'm taking time to show you this because the precedence of evil emanated from him. And anybody that takes that path will end like him. This is not an attempt to glorify an angel, because the one I'm talking about is not the devil. It was Lucifer, the angel of light. But it's not even a bit to exalt an angel. I'm showing you where men can get to and still fall when they follow the same path of rebellion. So you can be the president, and that ascension becomes the reason for your fall. You can be a governor, that will be the reason for your fall. You can be upright serving God until the day you become a millionaire, and the millions become the reason for your fall. Does that mean God doesn't bless men? No, God blesses men, but the blessings of God is commensurate to the knowledge of God they have. I wish above all things that thou mightest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. If you have power beyond how much you know God, power will rule you. If you have money beyond how much you know God, money will rule you. Everything that is a blessing remains a blessing so long as you know God more than those things. The moment those things become more than the knowledge of God in your life, those things become your God, and it becomes corruption. So Lucifer ascended. He said that we ascend and be like the Most High. And he was cast from the mountains of God. But unfortunately, he was cast into the first earth. And the moment he hit the earth, you know, fire can be used to cook. Fire can be used to do a lot of good things. But when fire is out of order, it becomes a disaster. So the same fire that cooks your food, if it is out of order, it can burn your house. So when Lucifer stepped out of fire, God said, I will cause that fire in you to consume you. And when he hit the earth, something happened to the earth. He destroyed the structure of the earth. So from Genesis chapter 1 verse 2, the Bible said, and the earth was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. What happened between Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 is in Isaiah chapter 14. The earth was in perfect harmony under the government of God, but Lucifer wanted to alter that government. I will no longer be the governor of the earth. I want to be like the Most High, seated with him in heaven. And he was cast as profane from the mountain of God. And when he hit the earth became void. Government have been scattered. Government have been disrupted. It's like in a military regime, when a coup fails, for a while, the country will be in chaos. It will take time to restructure order. So the moment Lucifer fell, all the angels that were working with him, 1/3 of them, they followed him. So they distorted the earth. And the prophet Jeremiah, in Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 23, he was carried outside time and he saw what happened. And he said the earth was void. The earth was distorted because a coup has failed in heaven. And the impact was in the jurisdiction of the devil. And the jurisdiction of the devil was the earth. All of this happened before man was created. These were the things that happened before the first man was created. There was war in heaven, and the impact was on earth. The earth was in chaos. The earth was in disaster. But God needed another general on the earth. So God came to the earth again. But because the earth was in chaos, God could not walk with the earth. So God downloaded Eden from heaven. Because Eden was also under the perfect order of God. And the only thing God could do now was to create another balloon. And he downloaded Eden from heaven. And he planted Eden on earth, and he put the man in Eden. So long as the man was in Eden and under the government of God, even though the earth was in chaos, it could not affect the man. And what God wanted the man to do was to cultivate the garden. Cultivate the garden does not mean plant and unplant and harvest. No, cultivate the garden simply means, because it says walk the garden. The word is ergon. Walk means become. So what God wanted the man to do was to keep worshiping and carrying out the same priesthood and kingship responsibility that the first Lucifer was carrying out. And as he continued, Eden will enlarge and Eden will subdue the earth. So God wanted a new earth to appear. Remember, at the end of all things, a new earth will appear. But that's what God wanted to do with Adam. Cultivate this garden. This is the new earth. This earth is supposed to dominate the old earth. Because I have set the structures, the light, the water have already been set, and the sun. You now allow Eden to dominate the earth. And Adam did not understand, because Adam was a man, but he was a child in his soul. He didn't have understanding. He was innocent. And the devil came and brought rebellion again. The same thing he did in heaven. I want to be like the Most High. And he told the man, if you eat this fruit, you will not die. God knows that you will become like him. He deceived the man into rebellion. And the moment the man allowed it, the same chaos that was in the old earth now entered the new earth. And the new earth became compromised. And the whole earth is in darkness. Have respect unto the covenant, for the habitations of the earth is a region of cruelty. Darkness had entered the earth again. And the moment that happened, I need to read some scriptures so you understand what I'm saying. Ezekiel. I wanted to tell you stories and go, but the way some people are looking at me, I'm going somewhere. Don't worry. Just stay with me. Ezekiel 28 from verse 11. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, that thou that sealest up the sun, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. So the Eden was the garden of God. He was there. Every precious stone was thy covering: the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, the gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets are of pipes, and of pipes was prepared in thee from the day you were created. Three information here: Eden in heaven, the one clothed with the 10 stones, and the carrier of the musical instrument. He said, thou art the anointed cherub, the angelic, operated in the angelic realm, that covereth priesthood. He ministers to the presence. And I have said this so: thou was upon the holy mountain of God, thou walked to and fro in the midst of the stones of fire. So he was a seraphim and a cherubim. The cherubims cover the glory, the seraphims, they guard the holiness of God. So they walk to and fro in the midst of the coals of fire. These were his credentials. He said, thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. That was where the error began. And in Isaiah chapter 14, I need to give you scriptural backings before I go forward. I'm trying to show you how the systems of this realm operate. Isaiah 14 from verse 12. How art thou falling from heaven? He moved in the midst of the coals of fire in the Eden of God. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground? We did weaken the nations. You see what he came to do when he came down? To